And welcome to the Franchise Tag Podcast with me, your host, Freddie Hall. Welcome back, Sky Lawrence Pank and Adam Martin, to another edition of our deep dive episodes that we're doing throughout August as we build up to the 2025 NFL season. Lots of action and lots of fun to come from this podcast during the 2025 season. And the division we're doing today is division that is got a lot of fun storylines, a lot of fun teams, a lot of good times ahead, maybe for this AFC West division. The one that holds the Kansas City Chiefs, our Super Bowl finalists, who were crushed under the heel of the Philadelphia Eagles, the Los Angeles Chargers, and the Denver Broncos and the Las Vegas Raiders. This division finished up in the end, Kansas City being 15-2, the LA Chargers going 11-6, the Broncos going 10-7, and the Raiders going 4-13 in the 2024 season. More AFC for us, guys. We'll crack on straight away with the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, we're going straight to the cream of the crop on this podcast. We don't mince about, we don't mess about, you know. Some notable signings. I said a word then that I probably shouldn't have said, and I just realised, but it's fine. So we've got Jalen Moore, the left tackle formerly of San Francisco, going to the Kansas City Chiefs, which was quite an early signing and a bit of a surprise value one as well. We got Christian Fulton, the cornerback, Charles Omenihu, who re-signed, Elijah Mitchell coming over to strengthen up their running back room, along with re-signing Kareem Hunt. And notable departures with DeAndre Hopkins, Justin Reed, DJ Humphries, Tershawn Wharton, Josh Uche, Derek Nardi. And then looking at the draft, obviously they were very, very, very low down in the pecking order in the draft. They're actually the 32nd pick in the end. They picked Josh Simmons from Ohio State, the tackle. They took Omar Norman Lott, a defensive tackle out of Tennessee, at the 63rd pick. They not a huge amount of picks, the Kansas City Chiefs, admittedly, in that draft. I mean, Sky, all eyes are going to be on the Chiefs, aren't they? Because they're just that darn good. And even when we think they're not very good, like we didn't think they were very good last season, they still get to the Super Bowl. It's just rinse and repeat for these guys, right?
Yeah, but it's the end of the dynasty, ain't it? It's the end.
End of the dynasty. Would you call it a dynasty? And obviously, you being the Patriots fan that you are, know all about dynasties.
They have to be for how consistently they've made AFC Championship and Super Bowls. So I'm not going to be that harsh on them. I just think that obviously we touched upon it when we were talking about, the AFC North teams. I've talked about the Ravens. I think the Chiefs weren't a 15-2 team. I think Kelsey's not going to be the same. The Rashee Rice suspension will be handed out at some point. Chris Jones has been the standout guy on that defense when they've been winning, but he's now a year older. And I think, without being too critical, clearly wasn't as dominant last year as he has been when the Chiefs have been winning. And look, they're still going to be competitive and they're still going to be a double-digit win team. I just think that, as much as you're always in with a chance with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, and I think that Josh Simmons is a nice pick. It's not a sexy pick. I spoke about O-line before. He could be their answer at left tackle. I just think that this division has a lot of strengths, and it's one where, if the Chiefs, it could be would be 10 in a row. I think if they win it this year, I think it's the end. I think someone's gonna bring it to a halt. But I say all of that now. They've got, Tyquan Thornton, who was on the Pats. He's having a good training camp. They'll probably get 15 wins again, and he'll probably be a wide receiver 1. And then I'll just be crying in the corner. But let's hope that doesn't happen.
The train's always full steam ahead in Kansas City under the helm of Andy Reid, Adam. I mean, it's got to fall off the wheels at some point, hasn't it? Like, they can't.
Come on, Adam, agree with me.
They can't be this dominant.
I think they will be. I don't see what's changed. Really, I look at it and I go, well what's changed? One thing,
the O-line's got weaker.
Yeah,
has it though? I mean, okay, so Joe Tooney's gone. Josh Simmons has come in. Jalen Moore has come in. I mean, Simmons, obviously, it's going to be about how he does when he comes back from the injury, which is why he missed most of the championship winning season at Ohio State. But he's very, very good. And when they can get him fit, he will be really good. So I'm not saying that they're going to go and win 15 games again. I think that's very unlikely. And actually, you can kind of see based on the way that they were. So we all know Sky loves a stat. So we've got a nice little stat for him. Whole of last season, 25th on completing first down, 25th in the league. Every second down, they were 21st. But on third down, they were 4th. So basically what it means is that it doesn't really matter. Patrick Mahomes is clutch and he's going to get the ball over the line, and that's the end of it. So I think because of that, it's very, very difficult to see anything other than a Chiefs win when it comes to this division. I think that the other teams have improved, and there's been a lot of movement in this division, and we'll talk about them later, but they have done very well in this offseason. But the fact is that this team actually hasn't got any worse. You could argue, yeah, okay, the O-line is maybe a little bit worse, but they've got Rashee Rice back, and he's only going to get a 2 or 4 game suspension. Like, he's not going to get any more. Kamara got a 3-game suspension for exactly the same thing. He's not going to get anything bigger than that. So, yeah, he probably will miss a little bit of time, but he was really, really good for them in his rookie season, and they missed him a lot. They still went 15-2 without him. He only played, 4 or 5 weeks, something like that last year. So, in theory, if you actually look at it, it kind of looks like the team's better. And I'm not saying they're going to win 15 games, because I do believe that the other teams in this division have improved, and I think some of them will probably get wins against them. But the fact is that the goal is still the Super Bowl. And there's still a team that is capable of winning the whole thing. And I think that they probably will come out and win this division.
Sky, he talks about all the good stuff, but
Yeah,
one of the bad stuff for the Chiefs last year was the running game, because Pacheco just wasn't the same. He was injured. Kareem Hunt came in, doesn't look like the Kareem Hunt of old. They've got both of them guys back. They've strengthened it with Elijah Mitchell. I mean, I was a massive fan of Isaiah Pacheco. Huge fan. I thought he was a wonderful player at the start of his Kansas City career. And it's not really kicked on. And it almost feels like they're not really sure who's going to be starting. Or is this going to be just full committee now, sort of style that we're seeing amongst a lot of NFL teams? Because it was one thing I thought was noticeable. And, we had the privilege of being in New Orleans for the Super Bowl and seeing a lot of this team, and seeing a lot of the way how they acted and their behaviors and them up front and close and personal. And I asked questions to Isaiah Pacheco and on the opening night, and I still thought he was a really likable character. He seemed to be very in touch with his faith and with how the Super Bowl was going to go, I suppose, which take it or leave that. I personally leave it, but he picks that white cross up. So yeah, like
it didn't help in the Super Bowl.
No, I mean it didn't. No matter how much amount of praying helped in the Super Bowl. So yeah, is that a big notable reel? Or am I just doing it really?
I think and when you said about are they a dynasty, and the reason I think I can talk about them in more detail is that Patrick Mahomes obviously is a guy who can elevate players to a level that they wouldn't normally play on another team, like Tom Brady did. And I think in the run game, you remember the Patriots' last Super Bowl win over the Rams. Sony Michel had 1,000 yards, good year, and was great. But then what's he done since? And I think Isaiah Pacheco obviously runs harder than a guy like him and is good, but he's a product of his environment, and that happens to be in a very, very successful franchise with arguably, one of the best head coaches of all time, and potentially is going to be, one of the best quarterbacks of all time. However his career pans out between now and then, he's still been phenomenal since coming to the league. So it will be a committee. And I think Andy Reid knows that. They would obviously, as a Chiefs fan, you just hope that Pacheco can get at least back to some sort of level that we saw earlier on, like when they won the Super Bowl, when they did beat the Eagles. I think the one, just back to Rice, so I think Adam's right. It's good that he's coming back, and even if he gets a few games back, he did do his ACL though. There is that too. And I just think, Fred, to say your point, which I also mentioned, is that they are a year older. It does catch up at some point. And I think the Chiefs are probably falling maybe into that thing that Bill Belichick got guilty of we'll just get by with what we did because we are good, but you will get found out at some point. And they did against the Eagles. And I think the difference is with the Chiefs, not to make it all about my Patriots, but the fact that they got blown out in the way they did. It wasn't like they only lost by 6 points to the Eagles. And I think that just went to show that they can be beat, and they got beaten pretty handsomely. So even if they got through the AFC again, I think there's plenty of teams on that NFC side that could deal with them. But let's hope they don't make the Super Bowl again, please. No, we don't want that.
Man, the Eagles ripped off Andy Reid's mustache and beat Patrick Mahomes to death with it. Like it was so crazy. Obviously, like
they got Bungaroos.
They got what? Sorry.
What does he say? Bungaroos. Try to say they got done. They got Dungaroos. You remember Andy Reid says Bundarooski, the advert. It's like an advert for Verizon. He's like, get your Bundle-rooski or something.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure this wasn't a dream of yours that you had, you know.
Bundarooski of a dream. Yeah. I mean, Sky, you're right. I mean, we don't want them to do it again, do we? We don't want them to be that successful again. We like having new teams come to the forefront, surely, don't we? Is it getting a bit stale? Is it getting a bit boring? I'm sure it's not getting boring for Chiefs fans. I definitely know it's not getting boring for Chiefs fans, but it's getting boring to all of us, isn't it?
I'm just glad there's two teams to push them. I think it's a really good division, and I think it genuinely is one of the few people have obviously tried to make headlines in the last few years. The Chiefs will fall off, etc. I think this is the year where you actually can make a genuine argument, as opposed to just saying it for the sake of it.
It is boring though. Like, you are right. It is boring that they just make it every year, sort of thing. It's like you do want to see other teams get there, but they're a very good team, and I just don't. It's difficult to get away from them.
Well, this team is going to go after them, I think. The LA Chargers is who we're going to be talking about next. A team I gotta say, I'm a little bit in love with them, lads. I'm a little bit in love with them. I get what they're doing. Very, very impressive. I've seen lots of people brought in, actually. Mekhi Becton, Dante Jackson, Najee Harris, re-signed Tahir Tart, re-signed Bradley Bozeman, brought back Tyler Conklin. Who else did they bring in? Oh, Trey Lance. Brought in Trey Lance, didn't they? I completely forgot about
my boy.
Yeah, for anyone who wants to see it, well, you're going to hear probably about it in detail, but anyone wants to hear
Sorry.
Fun stuff about that was go check out our NFC North video, more specifically on the Detroit Lions, if you want to get specific rather than watching the whole thing. But maybe you should just watch the whole thing. Notable people who left the franchise: Joey Bosa, Christian Fulton, Josh Palmer, Poona Ford, J.K. Dobbins, Eli Apple, DJ Shark as well. And then draft-wise, they didn't have a first-round pick, so they took Trey Harris, the wide receiver out of Mississippi, with the 55th pick in the second round. They took Gemma.
Whoa, hold up. What do you mean they didn't have a first-round pick?
Oh, of course they did. Sorry, it's just where stupid is stupid does. 22nd pick, they took none other than Amarian Hampton, running back out of
Adam loves him.
North Carolina. That's it. I've cut off accidentally the top of it. So they did have a first round pick. Apologies. Maybe let's start there with the offseason, their draft. I mean, you, Adam, huge fan of Amarian Hampton. Huge fan, right? How many did you draft him in the fantasy?
I did. I've got him in our dynasty league.
I thought so.
Yeah, I think he's going to be great.
It's the kind of snake move you've made.
He's going to be great. He had a great college career at North Carolina. Certainly last year was really good. They have had a really good draft in general. I thought that their draft was decent. Trey Harris looks like he's going to be a very good sort of like speedster for them. And I really like Jamari Caldwell, who I think can replace Poona Ford, because Poona Ford is a big hole that they're going to miss. That he was huge at stopping the run for him. And Jamari Caldwell, who they took, the defensive tackle, he should do pretty well for him. Once you look past that,
can I just stop you there, because I butchered his name and you've equally butchered his name. I think it's Jamari.
that's what did I say?
You said Jeremy, didn't you?
No, no, Jamari.
Listen, you're not going to waltz up in here, take a Maureen Hampton from all of us, and then call him Jeremy Caldwell, and say that the host is wrong here. Because I definitely,
Hey, I've got it written down as Jamari. That counts, doesn't it? So I I think they did pretty well there. And then when you look at the depth of it, they have got a few guys. Kyle Kennard is someone who could be decent. Rhonda Gadsden at tight end could be decent as well. Also, as you said, like additions, Mekhi Becton, that's a really big addition for him who could do really well. Najee Harris, to be behind probably Hampton once he can start seeing. So, that's something that would be good. And yeah, they're a really good team. I'm not as hot on them as you are, I'm guessing, based on the way you started it. I think that I think they're probably going to do the same again as what they did. I don't think they're a Final Four team in the AFC. So I think the Chiefs probably are a Final Four team in the AFC, and I don't think the Chargers are. I think they're just still short of them.
I kind of agree, Fred, and this is a big shock because everyone knows I love Justin Herbert, but the offense does need to hit another level. Obviously, it works out with Trey Harris, and he can blow it off over the top. McConkey underneath. However, their 11 wins last season, only 3 came against teams with a winning record. That was the Broncos twice, which I don't think will happen again. And the Bengals, who were in our other preview, we established that anyone could beat them because their defense is awful. So there's that. You start the season in Brazil, which is going to be massive, by the way. I know everybody says, it evens out in the course of the season. I think the fact that it's a divisional game, week 1 abroad, could be big for the tiebreaker at the end of the year between them and the Chiefs. One stat I did find, which I thought was particularly interesting, was Justin Herbert, 7 of 9 games since he's been drafted for the Chargers against the Chiefs have been decided by 1 score. 1-6 in those games. A stat I'm using, and that is a narrative against him. And also, they had the 5th easiest schedule last year. Now they got the 11th hardest. So it's the typical case of Harbaugh comes in, turns it around. Everyone's sort of buying into them being sexy, but they need to double down now and actually prove that they're as good as they potentially could be. And I think the potential's there. I'm just not as sold on them as even I thought I would be. It was just once I dived a bit deeper.
This team's going to the Super Bowl, baby.
You've taken the Justin Herbert mantle from me.
They're going to the Super Bowl. Don't tell anybody. But
okay.
Is it because LA's close to San Francisco and it's a quick trip?
It's just a quick drive. Don't worry about it. You can even get Chick-fil-A on the way. Don't worry, Jim.
Oh,
okay. My thing is totally just because I like them. It's just totally because I like them. I don't think they have the squad. They don't have the squad. Not really. But I just love them. They're so. I love Harbaugh. I love Justin Herbert. I'm really big on the Maureen Hampton there as well. Like I really want Lad McConkey and Quentin Johnston to work as well. I think their O-line's pretty elite, if not maybe like top 3. Like all them guys are great. And then when you look on their defense, like again, not like crazy amount of names, so to speak, but like they were a top 3 defense last year. They were so good. Now there is a thing of top 5 defenses never really tend to go back to back. There tends to be one that drops in, or a few that drop in and drop out. So I don't think but I just have a really good feeling about these guys. I just think Harbaugh's done he's done his first year back. He's got back used to it. He's got back into the saddle. He's had that time with Herbert as well to really eke out what this team is going to be and what he wants it to be. He's had that development with them. and he's creating a culture. I think that is something that the LA Chargers have not had, well, ever being the LA Chargers. They have certainly not had that as the LA Chargers. They may have done as the San Diego Chargers at one point, but I don't think they've ever really had a culture there. Because they're new in the city, they've got a brand new stadium. You know, Sean McVay's created a culture. It's not a culture like Dan Campbell, where it's all very emotional, run through the wall. McVay's culture is more cool, calm, relaxed. We'll have some fun while we'll do it. Harbaugh's is a little bit of both, I think. I think he's like a bit of a monster mashup of like, we'll run through the wall for this guy, but hey, relax, it's okay. Let's go to the next play. You know, that sort of thing at the same time. So, yeah, my Super Bowl prediction for them is more because I really like them. Rather
I'd be happy with it though.
It actually happening.
I think I'm just more hurt. You know how big I am on Justin Herbert. I think and I should be as bought in as you with it being Harbaugh, but I think it's just like years of toll now where it's like, just prove me wrong this time. I'm happy to temper my expectations this year, but you know, they're good. The beauty of this division is it's going to be like I think even compared to
competitive. I think it's going to be a lot more competitive than people really think. And also as well, a big thing is two of our bezies from New Orleans and of this podcast, the Ramirez brothers, Fernando and Daniel, Chargers fans. They do a cracking podcast. You should check that out. They are fantastic lads, and I'd love to bask in their glory with the Chargers doing really well. And also they were one of the few people I've ever seen really stick it to someone who doesn't like Justin Herbert, and that was very, very enjoyable to be a part of. So let's go to our next team within this division that we're going to be talking about, and it is the Las Vegas Raiders, most notably bringing in a new head coach in the form of ex-Seattle Seahawks head coach Pete Carroll. They've also brought in Geno Smith, new quarterback in town. They also brought in re-signed Malcolm Kuntz, brought in Jeremy Chin, Alex Kappa, Jermaine Pratt, Landon Roberts. So they brought in a lot of Lecky Fote. They brought in a lot of sort of vetty guys who have done the hard years, I suppose. But they unfortunately lost Trayvon Merrick, Nate Hobbs, Rob Spillane, Divine Diablo. Reading the names they've brought in, it's almost like they've cleared out the older guys who haven't been performing, have been a bit of it like they're just okay, and brought in the guys who are older who are like, oh no, these guys are like very good in their positions. And then when you look at the draft, didn't have a first round pick. They just went to the second with Jack Beck at pick 58. And then around 4. What?
Who did Ashton Genty go to?
Is your cheek hurting? Because I think my fishing rod's just got caught in your mouth and I'm reeling you in, mate. You think I forgot about Ashton Genty? You kidding me?
And Adam were very worried then.
I had you all fooled. Oh, if you can't hear it, but I just slapped the knee because that was such a great comedic moment by this guy. Of course, I didn't forget about Boise State running back, the phenom that is Ashton Genty. Pick number 6. Boy, am I excited to see him play.
Yeah.
I cannot wait. I think he's probably the player I'm most excited about seeing play.
I'm so LaDainian Tomlinson 2.0. I think I said that. Experts have said that. I mean, Genty's an inch or two shorter, similar weight, but he can do everything. We've seen that, right? And we got him. I think it's an exciting time to be a Raiders fan, even though they're going to be one of those teams where they obviously won't have a winning record, but you're going to see building blocks in place coming slowly. I was a bit skeptical about Chip Kelly as OC, because I remember him as a very poor head coach of the Eagles and the Niners. However, great when he was leading Oregon in the back end of the 07 through to 2012, and also obviously just helped Ohio State win their championship. So he clearly is a good offensive mind. So I think I've got past him being poor in the NFL to be like, he's got Pete Carroll above him and he's got playmakers. So I think they're going to be maybe like the way we said last season that the Cardinals would be exciting to watch, but just not win, close games. But they're still going to be competitive in a different style. But yeah, I think the Raiders are weirdly going in the right direction. You know who that's down to, don't you? There can only be one man who has helped change the culture, a certain minority owner.
I thought you were about to say a certain minority. Oh, that Tom Brady is absolutely not a minority.
No,
He might
Tom
be a minority
Brady,
in wealth, but
the GOAT. He's changing Birmingham and he's changing the Raiders.
it's so nuts how he's involved in Las Vegas and in Birmingham. That is so
The crossover
wild.
we need. Get the Raiders to London next year. Ashton Genty at St Andrews.
Imagine carrying the flag for Birmingham as they come out of the tunnel. Jeez, that'd be so good. Adam, are people underestimating how much of a change this might be in Las Vegas? Because Pete Carroll, yeah, he's had a year out the game. He's you know, he is older. He wasn't looking, he's not at the age where he's looking somewhere to rebuild. They made quite a statement thing by bringing in Geno Smith, who did play under Pete in Seattle. And not a bad quarterback. Did a lot of good in that Seattle offense and in that Seattle team. Again, with a defense that's not been particularly great. Now, I'm not saying the Vegas defense is great. I think it is definitely an area they need to work on. But from the names I was saying, they've brought in some older guys who would really be complementary to that defense. And then with the arrival of Ashton Genty, who is on this hype train, and rightly so in my book, but we've seen hype trains before and it can go badly wrong. I don't think it will with Genty, but you have to sort of temper expectations a little bit. But it's a new look from, and it's wise moves. These are not stupid moves made by the Raiders this offseason. There's a load of these franchises out there that makes you think, oh, they're going to turn a corner, new coach, new this, new that, and still make very stupid moves.
Yeah, I think they've made a lot of really good moves this year. They really have. I mean, Pete Carroll obviously is one of the main reasons for it. He's brought Geno Smith in, who he had at Seattle. So you've got a reliable quarterback who can do a job for you and can do that for the next few years. It feels very much like this is a 3-year project rather than just the one. I think that's the sort of plan with it. And I think they look pretty good. Like you say, they brought in a lot of veteran players who I think can do well for them. I really like Chip Kelly going in there. He kind of brings that creativity from college, which I think sometimes the NFL is lacking a bit, but because he's been in the NFL so much, he understands that he can't just completely go mental like sometimes you can do in college. So it's not going to be all out offense. As you say, they brought in good players. Drafted really, really well, I think. Aside from just Ashton Genty, I think Jack Besh is a solid wide receiver. They've got Dante Thornton, who real big, tall guy who can run incredibly fast down the sideline. So he's going to be great. They helped the Lions out, even with their sort of round 6, round 7 picks of JJ Pegues and Charles Grant. It's like they were both decent D-line and O-line guys that, me and Andrew both spoke about them when we did the draft show. And I think very, very quickly they've become this very sort of tough, physical, run-first team who also has the ability to have someone like Brock Bowers on the team who can they've got options that they never had before. I agree with you about the defense. I think it's a little bit too thin, really, when you look at all of it in total. And I think because of that, they probably won't be having a winning record, partly because of the division they're in, but partly because the defense isn't quite up to it at the moment. But it's probably for the first time in quite a few years, the Raiders and Raiders fans are in a position where they've actually got the ability to be a little bit excited going into this season and can feel that this is the start of a building block. So for me, they went 4-13 last year. I think if they can get 8 wins, I think that is doable for them and that they can become a competitive team who actually you want to watch as well. And I think that's great. That's a really good start. And then you can build on that again next year. One thing I would say is Christian Wilkins leaving is a big blow for them, and I don't think they I think because of the way that their squad is at the moment, I don't feel like they can cope with too many of them sort of blows in order to, they need to keep everyone fit throughout the season to do as well as they can.
Strange sitch that, eh?
Yeah, really weird.
You want to talk about it, or? I mean, there's not much to be said. He apparently kissed a teammate on top of the head and then got report, and then the teammate said that he wasn't happy about it. There's nothing more to it really at the moment. I'm sure more may come out. I'm sorry, but I think there's 31 teams that are looking at that and going, we can go and get Christian Wilkins here, and be a lot better, better tomorrow, and he can kiss whoever he wants. I don't know.
It's Jags are linked with him. I saw on
the Jags. Oh, so he doesn't want to win Super Bowl then?
No.
That really caught me off guard. That was good.
Well, again, there is holes in this defense, but they've got one of the best edge rushers in the league in Max Crosby, who's just a wrecking ball. And like I said, I think they've reinforced. And when you look at it, a lot of them are backups, but they're just very solid backups. And I think that does put. I mean, I compare it very much to when we talked about the Bears in the NFC North one. I think if this team goes 8-7 wins and looks like it's going in a direction, you could be probably really happy with that. I think as a Raiders fan, you can definitely be happy with that and really build on something for the next year. It's very interesting what you said, where this feels like maybe for Pete Carroll, it's a 3-year project. I can't see this being 4 wins to a Super Bowl in 3 years. I think it may get to a good point where they're making the playoffs. But I think if he's doing that, I think he's going to go, we can push this a bit further. We can push this a bit further. We can push this a bit further. What I hope for Ashton Genty is it's not like a Saquon in New York situation where it feels like he's wasted. He gets an injury, doesn't quite bounce back, sort of whittles around a little bit. And we don't really get to see his full talent sort of off the bat. And that's what I'd really like to see. Hopefully, running backs do burn out quite quick at a young age rather than going the distance. But I hope that he's someone who can play for a very long time in this league, because I am really, really excited about him playing. Final team that we have got to discuss with the AFC West is the Denver Broncos. A very interesting offseason, I think, for the Denver Broncos. They brought in Talanoa Hufanga from San Francisco 49ers, the safety who's been impeccable. Brought over Evan Engram, Dre Greenlaw, Trent Sherfield, wide receiver, J.K. Dobbins. Did lose Cody Barton, Zach Wilson, Javonte Williams, Zach Cunningham. I mean, I don't think they're going to be too gutted about any of them. And then in their draft, their first round pick was pick 20, Jahdae Barron, the cornerback out of Texas. They got in for the 60th pick in the second round, RJ Harvey, running back out of Central Florida, which we all said was a fantastic pickup for where they got him. Got in Pat Bryant, wide receiver from Illinois, in the third. Not loads of picks, 2, 4, 6, 7 picks within this draft. So a pick per round, really. They just had 2 in the 3 and they didn't have a 5th round pick. This could be a really good team this year, I think. It could be a really good team. Sean Payton, he's got that year back. Oh, sorry, third year now. He's going into Russ. I obviously had Russell Wilson the first year, but then had Bo Nix. Bo Nix was, contending for Offensive Rookie of the Year, wasn't he, last year? I thought it was a bit ridiculous, really. I thought Jane Daniels was very clearly that guy, but this is a sneaky good team, Adam. I think all 3 outside of the Chiefs, obviously the Chiefs being the obvious sneaky good team, because they're not sneaky, they're obvious. These are 3 good teams that people might be quite surprised at. Not surprised in Denver, maybe, or LA, but they have the capability to make a real big jump, is what I'm meaning.
Yeah, and it's been a while, hasn't it, since the Chargers and the Broncos have been up at this sort of level as well. So I get what you mean. Yeah, I really like the Broncos this year. I think that I would have them above the Chargers. I think that the defense is just so good. It was top 5 against the run and the pass last year. It's improved. If it could, it has actually improved. I think Hufanga, I think Greenlaw, both of them are going to be great additions for it. Drafting Jahdae Barron, I mean, just to have him on one side and then to have Patrick Surtain on the other is ridiculous. I really liked Savion Jones, who they drafted in the third round as well as a edge rusher. He's not amazing, but he was very good at LSU, and I think that he will do well for them. So the defense looks great. The offense has obviously not been as great as what the defense has been, but it's looking good, and Bo Nix is looking good, and there's a lot of talk that's come out of camp already that he is sort of seeing everything slower than what it was last year, and that he's finding things a lot more easier, and he's just a lot more confident. And I think probably because you've got Sean Payton constantly saying how amazing he is all the time probably helps with that. But he is just seeing everything a bit better. They've just re-signed Cortland Sutton, haven't they, to a big deal. I think he just seems to work there. It seems to work with him. I think Evan Ingram, bringing him in is a great move, just as a veteran tight end who, you know, we saw what he could do at Jacksonville for Trevor Lawrence, and how he's just someone who moves the chains for any team he plays for. So I think Evan Ingram's going to be great. J.K. Dobbins had a decent season last year. If you can keep him fit, then that's good. But R.J. Harvey looks really, really good, as you said, and we were all saying that's a really good pick for them. So they don't have the depth, although at wide receiver, the one thing I would say, Pat Bryant, I do like the look of. I think that he was very good for Illinois. There's been comparisons for him and Michael Thomas, which is a bit mental, but he does look very good. And you know, they do have some field stretchers in Marvin Mims and Troy Franklin. So I think they are a very, very good team. And I don't think they're necessarily going to have to score loads of points in order to win games because of that defense. I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl, but I think that they are a team that can really push the Chiefs. And I do. They're definitely playoff contenders, and I think they should be now hoping to get in the playoffs, win a game at least, and then just see where you go from there.
Sky, you are any new quarterback that comes into the NFL, you're a fan of straight away, because you like new shiny things.
Oh yeah.
hence the TikTok like that you got just moments before we started. You were so very excited, and it's working a charm for you, I admit. But you're surely a Bo Nix fan, right?
From Oregon. I love Bo Nix. The fact that he went like 4 weeks without a touchdown and then finished 29 touchdowns to 12 picks and almost 4,000 yards.
Yeah.
To have that learning curve, you know, in the middle. We see so many quarterbacks that need a season and then an off season, and then they hit the ground running. He just picked things up. They're in. Do you know what? And I'm not even because the Broncos have caused the Patriots problems for anytime they're good. They're giving the Patriots a thorn in our side. But for me to say that they're in a good place and be as high on them as I am, I mean, I've sort of put all dislike aside. As you've said, Sean Payton has stamped his authority on the whole franchise. Even things like when you look at about like internal promotions of coaching, he's not just coaching up players, but in terms of like the staff as well. Adam's point about Evan Engram, 97 first downs since 2022. That's sixth amongst tight ends, second in receptions with 234, and also fifth in receiving yards. I mean, that's a sneaky good pickup. People don't talk about their tackles. Bowles and McGlinchey, great on the right and left side. And I mean, the receivers.
Did you just call him McGlinchey?
Yeah, I always mess up his name, but he's good on Madden as well. That's why I've liked him for a long time. He was on the Niners, wasn't he? For a bit.
Yeah, but his name's not McGlinchey.
Yeah, we'll call him McGlinchey, Clinky, Shiny Toy.
Mike McGlinchey.
McGlinchey. You know, we're British over here. We will say Glinky and
Yeah.
schedule. But
They're
I
good
think,
tackles. Garrett Bowles and McGlinky are decent.
yeah, and that is what he's all about, right? Building the trenches. It could, if Dobbins can stay healthy to help out Harvey the rookie, then you've got a nice 1-2 punch there to go with your sort of good core of receivers. And I like that their receivers are all well balanced, and that they can. Bo Nix doesn't need to be a standout guy. Like Adam said, Sutton works there. Might not work well in most other teams, but he knows the system and it goes well. And I just think Bo Nix's arm talent as well. Like that, I know they lost that game to the Bengals, but that game at the end of the season, that crazy high scoring one, he can make all the throws. And I know for people who don't watch the NFL, that sounds like stating the obvious, but there are some quarterbacks who are limited by their ability. But this guy has the arm talent to make every throw, and I think that they could even sweep the Chiefs in a series be the first time since 2014. I think Sean Payton has said, I don't think he would say this unless he meant it, right? He said he thinks this is only the 9th team that he's coached that can make a Super Bowl. I think he came out and said that yesterday.
So it's only the 9th team.
He said he was talking about like his coaching career, and he said this is only the 9th time in my career that going into a season, I believe that this team could win a Super Bowl.
I'm sorry, but that is hardly a stat. Like 9. If he went like second, you go, whoa.
Well, you got to remember, Drew Brees bottled a lot of them, so he's obviously.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah. In his mind, then he should have won 8 Super Bowls.
Yeah, he thinks that Brees and himself are basically Belichick and Brady, but I mean, the good thing, I guess his motivation now is, without taking the mick, because he's a great head coach, no head coach has ever won a Super Bowl with 2 different teams. So him coming out and saying that is obviously from a personal. He's had a few run-ins with the NFL over the years. He's got he wants to win again.
He's not got a great report card.
He's not on Goodell's Christmas card list.
The only thing that I just raise my eyebrows a little to is I really like Courtland Sutton, and I like Troy Franklin, Marvin Mims, Pat Bryant, as Adam says, sounds like he's a decent player.
Even Vele.
Devon Vele, who I've never heard of ever.
He played a little bit, didn't he, last season?
He's like 6'5", big body. He's a bit older, one of those like later guys, like mid-20s.
There is a lack of depth, I would argue, when it comes to the talent.
I think it's just Courtland Sutton. He's a 1. And then they've got, to me, a bunch of 3s and 4s.
Yeah.
There's no 2. There's no...
I think the hope is Pat Bryant will become the 2.
I think, like you said, if he's a big body guy, I think they want small speeds to a good hands, big body to rack it up to as well. That would work really well, like in that tandem. That'd be enjoyable to watch. I think that'd be good fun. So division wise, this is probably out of the ones we've done so far the most interesting I am to hear where you have everyone. Who do you both have a bottom? We've all got the same bottom, I assume.
Raiders, yeah.
Or have we?
Raiders. Record, or do you want to go? Do we going straight in order?
I do have the Raiders, but I have them on the exact same record as the Broncos, and I had them both winning a loss against each other in the division. So I don't know how it would end up, but they're both. I've got them both on 8 and 9.
I've got Raiders at 7 and 10.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I haven't done it, but I think they'll get 7. I think they'll get 7 or 8 wins. Yeah.
So then, who have you got third, Sky?
I have the same. I have a tie between 2 teams at 10 and 7. Okay. Now, based on because I don't want to give it away, based on the predictor I used, it would coming out most likely that would be the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think, to be fair, if there was a team that was going to edge the other one, annoyingly, as much as I like the Chargers, the Chiefs will probably win that week 1, which will be the So yeah.
So you've got the Chiefs and the Chargers as both 10-7.
Give it away, shizzle.
So you have the Broncos winning the division by what margin?
By 1 game, because they play Chiefs and Broncos play week 17. So
Okay.
I think the Broncos win the division that week, rest their players week 18 and lose. I can't remember who they're playing, but 11-6.
So you've got them 11-6 winning division, 10-5.
By 1 game.
So 11-6.
Yeah, 2 10-7s.
Yeah.
Raiders, Chargers, Chiefs, and then Broncos 11-6.
8-9. And Raiders 8-9. Sorry.
7-10.
7-10. So I've got the Raiders, Broncos at 8-9. I've got the Chiefs at second, 11-6.
Okay.
And then I've got the Chargers 12-5.
Oh.
I just my
just
thing
like the
with
Chargers.
it is, no, my thing with it is, one is I don't really want the Chiefs running away with it, nor do I think they will run away with it because I think the rest of the divisions just got better. Like a lot better. I don't think it's marginal how much of a difference that the Broncos, Raiders, and Chargers will be. I think Harbaugh's second year, I just think the ball is rolling. Like that team now's got it, and they're going to go with it. Broncos, I think the only thing is why I'm not pushing them towards more like a 9 or 10 is I think teams have now seen Bo Nix, and they now know what to expect. And then Raiders, I have to admit, I've probably gone maybe a little bit ambitious on them. But I think the Carroll factor, I think Gino's the best quarterback they've had in ages. And they've not had good records, admittedly, but they've not had terrible records when they had Derek Carr. And Geno Smith is good as well. Ashton Genty, I think, is going to be a 1,000+ yard rusher, 15+ touchdowns. I think they have weirdly okay wide receivers, and then obviously Brock Bowers, who is just a monster. So I wanted to keep this division really close, and I think it sort of is with Chargers maybe running away with it a little bit, but it was. I could easily back Skies. To be honest, I could easily back Skies.
I was going to say, Fred.
I would have Chargers. I would have Chargers and Broncos swap probably.
I was going to say I could
the Chargers more.
The Chargers winning the division by a game. I just think it's. I'm not even, like I said at the beginning, not even doing that just to be different and say it's the end, because in years I've just accepted that they've been good. But I think this year there's a different winner. They've won it 9 years in a row. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Adam's smirking because he's got the Chiefs at what? He's just listening to us make all the arguments against the Chiefs, and he's going to go, Chiefs are 14-3.
What have you got?
I've got Raiders bottom, then I've got Chargers and Broncos pretty much the same, but I do lean slightly more towards the Broncos, and then the Chiefs winning it. I don't think the Chiefs drop off that much. I think they get like 12 wins. And Broncos and Chargers, I think it could be very, very tight. And I think like 11, 10, something like that. I don't think there's much between them. And I really don't think you're that far off with the Raiders, Fred. I think like 8 wins is definitely something that's doable. So I think you've got a division that's very, very competitive. And everyone goes on about the NFC North being the most competitive, and it probably technically still is. But this one is not far behind it.
You just look at it now, and when you look around the AFC, I mean, it's not spoiler because we've not discussed what when we're doing the next divisions and stuff like that. But you say Raiders, you say Broncos, Chiefs, and Chargers are going to be competitive, maybe winning records. You look at the South, someone's got to win it. So that's 4 teams that are going to be competing in there. You look in the East, Bills, I think the Patriots are going to be bang at it. The Jets could sneakily do a little bit better than people think, but I'm going to take them away. So that's 6. And then look in the North, you could argue Steelers, Bengals, and that's 9. 9 really good teams in the AFC that have got strengths all over the park, really. I like that each of them have their little tiny sort of nuances that make them maybe not as good, or situations, or just it will be more than likely injuries within the season. But man, is this a competitive AFC?
Yeah.
Hugely. Going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's a shame for the Raiders, really, because you put them in the South, they probably would be a playoff team. But I reckon, dude, it sounds like we're all in agreement that we could have three teams from this division in the playoffs again. Again.
Yeah. Yes, again.
Yeah,
again.
they were both in it. Yeah.
Broncos lost
Yeah,
to
I
Bills.
think there's a good chance that you'll get 3. I mean, the North, you could argue you could get 3, but I think there's more chance of this one having 3 than the AFC North having 3 myself.
Yeah.
I could get you with that. I'd get you with that. Adam, Sky, thank you very much for joining me this evening. Thank you very much for talking about the AFC West. Thank you guys for watching this video. We've got plenty more of the deep dive episodes coming the rest of August, so make sure you keep an eye on that. Make sure you go check us on YouTube, like and subscribe our videos, where again you can find the rest of our deep dive episodes. Check us out on all podcast platforms as well, where this episode will be on, as well as on social media. Give us a follow, and we'll see you there. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and we'll see you all again very soon.